Now put your drinks in the air. If you go hard, yeah. Laugh, yeah, somebody scream. Somebody put your hands up before I go. In the air, you go hard. Now put your drinks in the air. If you go hard, throw your sense in the air. If you go hard, just throw your money in the air. If you go hard, left yeah. Now tonight is the night about to go off. Full of the incidents. True, I ain't taking no loss. I'm feeling slapped in the cut. My mind is still clear. I'm posted up in the middle. And man, it's whatever. It's whatever. Put your hands in the air. Put them up. If you go hard, put your drinks in it. If you go hard, laugh it. Throw your sense in the air. You go hard. Throw your money in the air. You go hard. Left yeah. We're gonna go hard tonight. We're gonna go hard tonight. Left yeah. We're gonna go hard tonight. Gonna go hard tonight. Left yeah. Now put your hands in the air tonight. Now put your drinks in the air tonight. Good night, y'all. Throw your sense in the air tonight. Thank you. Throw your money in the air tonight. Laugh, yeah. Somebody scream.
Good morning to those in our Hub family as well as those in the wider world of LinkedIn. And welcome to our fourth installment of Kick It. Can you believe it? 4 installments already of Killing It with Kindness, a web series featuring the various talented people within Hub Enterprises working on the COVID-19 community support team on behalf of the Louisiana Department of Health. My name is Ray, community support worker, and I'll be your host. Happy Easter. Happy Passover, and for those observing Ramadan, may you have an easy fast. A whole bunch of holidays, especially during this spring season. I'm happy to share the screen, whether that's on your phone, on your tablet, or your own computer monitor, with these rock stars in their own right. We have the magnificent mega Melomania, being very careful how I say that, our executive director, Jody Broussard. Jody, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Ray.
Wonderful.
Anytime we get to talk about music, I'm pumped up.
Oh yeah, and we
have
Drea.
I have Drea on today. Like probably the only person that I would be scared of in a music contest. Drea.
So if you need a buddy for music trivia, you got Jody and Drea for sure. We have the Queen of Cool and real live musician herself, Miss Kimmi Shelton. Now, Kimmi, it's not even noon, and this is already your second speaking engagement of the day. You had a very important presentation this morning. Could you tell us a little about it?
I had to speak to a bunch of 7-year-olds because my son's second grade class, the whole second grade, had career day. So I had to get a little table set up and try to explain to 7-year-olds what I do, which was fun. But next time I'm bringing props and candy and things because I wasn't as cool as everybody else.
We got to bring Jody too.
Jody, that's what.
But I'm sure they enjoy that. Thank you.
Hopefully.
We have the supervisor coming in on her day off too, always full of vim and vigor on this Friday morning. We have Miss Veronica Noble. How you doing, Veronica?
I'm good. I'm here. Ready.
Good. Thanks for joining us. We also have with us today another of our awesome agents from Miss Paula's team, our special guest, Miss Drea Gay. Drea, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ray. Thank you for
And
asking.
well, thank you for joining us. And why don't you share with our non-studio audience a little about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name is Drea, as he said. I've been with Hub since May of 2020 launch of the COVID-19 project. Now, outside of this job, I enjoy any form of creating or learning, cooking, visual arts, making music. Um, as someone born and raised in Louisiana, I also love reading about Louisiana folklore and history. And going into the whole status as a melomaniac, I have a vast vinyl collection and an almost encyclopedic knowledge of assorted music trivia. Okay. Um, I do feel honored to be included in this conversation this morning. So thank you for inviting me on, Jody. I'm looking
Um,
forward to the discussion this morning.
you're welcome. And I just want to like lead with that because it was so cool. We didn't have a guest, and we were kind of doing some setup stuff yesterday, and I was uh, throwing out some trivia questions, and I just thought about Drea yesterday out the blue. That's not really true, uh, but uh, this morning I said, I bet you Drea already knows the answer to that trivia question. So that's what made me think to invite her about the Prince trivia question. Well, not only does Drea know the answer to the trivia question, she actually has the four finals, and like she pulled them out and showed them to us like as the answer to the trivia question. I mean, that is like I said, like music contest over. Drea just dropped the mic on me. Uh,
I had him
so
ready to go.
yeah, I mean that's awesome, and that the reason those four albums are special to me. That's and it, I guess we ought to like fill the audience in on what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I'm sure they've already, could hear that our topic for today is music, and how that shared love for music. Um, so Jody, why is it that we're speaking about music today?
Because every day's a good day to speak about music.
That's right.
That's the answer. No, but we were talking about one of my favorites, Prince, and
Mm.
so I really like the fact that Prince is a true artist, like he did all of the he did everything on those four albums for pretty much. Like he wrote, he produced, he played all the instruments, and they were very controversial for the time. And that's the last that was the one you were looking for, Drake. Number number four.
The
Was that the one?
controversy.
Controversy. Yeah, that's number four. They were, but that was the fourth. And then he puts out, uh, I think 1999 and Purple Rain, and he really blew up. Uh, but he had help on those. He had the Revolution. He had a really good band, but those four, leading into it, were really cool. And the fact that you not only knew the answer to the trivia question, you actually had the line or to back it up. That's pretty bad. That's what I knew I made the right decision. And she was nervous about coming on the show, and I was like, oh man, I hope she comes on just because it's going to be so much fun to kind of bounce ideas off of her. Because we got into a big old discussion about Cypress Hill and all kind of fun stuff. So I mean, every day's a good day to talk about music because I think
It
it
is.
brings it together.
And that's how you know you have a real music lover there, where you have vinyl, right? And not just how we have music nowadays, which is just a simple click of the mouse, just a music download, which is good too, very convenient. But
And you
to
can look
have,
at the back in my background, that Marshall speaker on, you can see
Mhm.
it. I mean, that thing is fantastic. I'm like, I don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm just telling y'all that Marshall speaker is the best sounding thing I've ever heard for like a room speaker. I mean, it just sounds fantastic. And trust me, I tested it and I tested off the I listen to a lot of music, so put y'all with that.
Well, music definitely is the name of the game for today. And just to open it up to, of course, to the guests on the panel, as well as to those who are viewing or listening to this online, just a reminder that this is a fully interactive discussion among friends. So, panel, feel free to jump in and comment on what anyone will be sharing at any point. And in this forum, it is indeed welcome. And I really do mean that this is a fully interactive discussion because it also includes our viewers and listeners online. So, dear viewers, dear listeners, you are a part of this as well. Feel free to share your comments or questions in the chat. Music is something, I don't know someone who does not love music. And I'm sure all of us have some sort of comment or would like to share on the particular music that they love. Today we are talking about Melomania, uh, the this obsession or great love and passion for music, especially on those who are on our team, and how that builds empathy, understanding, and closer relationships. You know, bonding over the beauty of the differences of it, in most cases too. You know, not everyone has the same taste in music, and that's okay. So I'd like to start us off with a couple of quotes. You know, I
Can I?
have, yeah.
I was trying to not interrupt you because I was raising my hand, but you couldn't see me. We need a raise hand, but we were talking about a playlist earlier. I think
Mhm.
that we are doing 2 hours, right?
Yes.
Today. So I was thinking that a good break in the middle, after we do our first, hour, I guess,
Hmm.
is to get a playlist together and we can play it for the break. But we
Yeah.
get the playlist together from requests from the audience and what we talk about
That
beforehand.
that
I was
would
just
that would be great.
I just wanted to make that suggestion and also say that we need to raise the hand button because otherwise I'm gonna keep interrupted. I can't help myself.
No, no,
God, I was like, man,
you're
I don't want to say it. I'm
you're
getting
good. You're
better.
good. I appreciate
That's so
it.
terrible.
No, I welcome the jumping in. Really, really. Um, and so as Jody said, you know, we're going to be compiling a playlist as well. So please in the chat, you know, include a favorite song, a favorite artist. The song would help so that we can pinpoint it and we can add that to the playlist for our intermission in the middle. As we our runtime for today will be 2 hours in total. You know, I always, as a lover of philosophy, I always try to include something from one of the classical philosophers, especially. And Plato says, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. I'm thinking of special moments in our lives, and music is always tied to it. And scientists have even found that music, especially between the ages of 12 and 21, about, is the music that we're always going to be linked to. So I think everyone can think in their own minds of their particular songs and find that it fits right in that time of life. Aldous Huxley, the 20th century British author and the author of Brave New World, said, "After silence, that would come which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music." So on that note, and opening up the discussion to the panel, and you can discuss anything from, you want to start off with favorite songs, music genres, artists. um, it's all yours.
I want to ask. I want to ask a question. Like I want to ask the first question. I'm the boss. Can I do that? Like I hardly ever do like pull rank. Uh, I'd like to hear the panels if because I think it's too difficult a question like to ask which favorite song because
Oh yeah.
I have probably 150 I guess at least. Uh, so I guess a better question like let's talk about the song that most impacted your high school years and why. Is that how's that for a reflective
I
question
think that's fair.
from the madman? That's pretty deep. I mean, I'll go first
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Y'all want me to go first? I
Start us
always go
off.
first,
Please.
but I mean, I don't mind. I'm trying to think of which one is most influential. Um, that's so
If
hard
you
for
want
me.
to think, I can talk.
Go ahead, V, talk. There you
So
go.
I'm not gonna go with the one that was most influential in high school because like it
'Cause you
really
don't have like you don't follow directions. That's why you never
yeah, no,
follow.
I definitely don't follow directions, and I'm not gonna ask for permission to first. But the one that had the most impact on me in life in general is actually a Disturbed song that you wouldn't expect to have so much meaning, I guess. And I played for my grandfather's funeral, and it's called "Hold On to Memories," and it's basically it basically tells us that like while our loved ones are here, like we're living for them. Like I was taking care of my grandparents, I was putting them first. I was trying to be what they wanted me to be. And then after they passed, like the song tells you to go and make the best of your life, like go and make them proud and you know, do your best in moving forward in life and making and leaving your legacy behind for those that are going to be behind you. And so it's just the song that has the most impact in my life in general. And yeah, that's it.
And what was the artist? Lee?
Disturbed.
Disturbed.
And the song's called Hold On to Memories.
Oh.
And for those of you that don't know, Disturbed is like a very I don't know what that genre would be like. I don't know if it's hardcore because it's not like Slipknot, but it's definitely like a harder rock kind of alternative. Like Kimmi over there, she's like thinking she could probably answer the genre. And this song is not, needless to say, like my mom and I went back and forth about me being allowed to play it at the funeral because she didn't listen to the song. She just saw the artist.
Right.
So you have to like, but it's one of their like more mellow songs. I like it. Anyway.
For a harder band, which they're not technically new metal, but they were around about the same time as like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and all that came about and became popular. They have such emotive lyrics in their songs. Like, and I guess a lot of people misconstrue that loud bands like that can't also be like soft and emotional at the same time while they're being loud, but they pull that off well.
Jody.
See, I changed my answer. That's why because I was thinking about it, and I'm gonna go with Whitney Houston. That's gonna be my choice. And I thought about it. I was trying to think of what impacted my relationship with my mom the most in high school. Because I was a little bit different than most. Go figure. You know, I was and that was around the time my dad got put in jail. So I was, I was lacking some guidance, I guess. Kind of lash it out at that time, I guess. I don't know, acting out maybe. Um, and I think her. I loved Whitney Houston. Like I was when that album dropped, the one that had you give good love. Which one is that? Which but that's the song that I remember. Remember because it dropped like the album I think dropped on Valentine's Day in '85 maybe. If I
Yeah, I
can,
think
if I'm right, if I'm right about that date, then that's how much that impacted my mom and I's relationship. Because my mom, like, she loved music too. Her favorite. I love Elvis. Everybody knows that because she loved Elvis, and I listened to it coming up. So I was also we listened to Michael Jackson a lot coming up, but I was also listening to a lot of hard rock stuff I listen to a lot of different stuff. I listen to a lot of, Tupac's one of my favorite, but I listen to a lot of NWA because I love Ice Cube. I think he was made and kind of broke down some barriers for a lot of people because he stood up for himself early on. And that was around the time that I was graduating from high school. So I was going to go with Ice Cube at the beginning, but then I changed. Like that's what I was going with earlier because I knew I was going to ask that question, and that was the wrong answer. Although Ice Cube, I think the world of y'all know that. Um, and he's not for everybody. Like because his music is very, very, raw. And like some of the stuff that V likes, I know she likes it because she can hear truth in the music, truth in what the music is real to her because she can feel it. So that's empathy. So if we could share that through music, and I'm trying to set that example up, I was able to share that song with my mom, and it brought us closer together because it was something new that we both really, really loved. Like Whitney Houston, like her voice was fantastic. I mean, it was so her voice was so pure that my mom loved her and I loved Whitney, and it kind of just it just showed us how much we had in common, I guess. And it was not her, it was the knucklehead that needed to be shown. But I remember how special that was, us coming together on that. It, my mom was always real honest with me. Like I think that was a different, but she knew she had to be. But that was just, I think that brought us. It brought us close enough to where I listened to her through my high school years. I don't think if we'd had that special connection through that music, that I would have been able to do that. So that I'm going with Whitney, and I'm going with that song. You Give Good Love because that was the song. And am I right about the date? If I'm right about the date, then that was the right answer. Drea, you probably know when that album came out.
I'm
It was
looking it up.
85 for sure.
That was her debut single. And it came
The
out in
album though.
1985 from her debut album.
Valentine's Day, right? Because you had to go buy albums back then. You couldn't just like turn on the internet and listen to it. You had to be like we knew it was coming because they were playing it on the radio.
It says February 22nd, 1985.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, they started playing on the radio on
Probably a
Valentine's
little
Day.
bit before. Yeah, exactly. They don't drop
Anyway,
it without some
it
promotion.
was 85 February, right? So I'm right about that time
You
frame.
absolutely are.
That was the right answer. Right. Whitney Houston, and you that song specifically, You Give Good Love, because it was the single off that album. That whole album was fantastic, and I was in love with Whitney until she started. Like I'm teasing, her voice is fantastic.
And make sure that's added to the playlist as well. Miss Regina just mentioned in the chat.
Anyway, that answer probably surprised a lot of people that are listening. And that I think that answer probably surprised me. Anyway,
That's all.
my answer, but I'm sticking with it.
I think for me, especially during that time frame, I think Kimmi used the great word emotive. With in adolescence, you have that angsty bit, and I remember I was in high school between 99 and 03, but really got into music more in my college years between 03 and 07. And the artist that definitely defines that time, late teens or early 20s, was Linkin Park. And so that was the first time I was introduced to them. And during I think the song "Numb," that song was really, really resonated with me during that time. And I'm sure many other people at least understand the sentiment. And if you're not familiar with the song, hopefully we'll get a chance to perhaps listen to it today. But during that time, that was it. That was my song.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mine, I guess it's my favorite song of all time. It resonates with high school and just with life in general. So it's kind of like an all-encompassing one, like Veronica's was, but it's Everlong by the Foo Fighters, and it was that one came out in like '96, which was when I started high school, on their second album, The Color and the Shape, and it was just those lyrics. And Dave Grohl is one of those musicians like Prince that can play anything, because their first album was just him. Like there was no band. He played everything. They had a band by their second album, but I think when he was in Nirvana, just everybody gave Kurt most of the attention because of his lyrics and what a poet he was. And a lot of times the drummer gets looked over. So now the drummer, as a frontman, like everybody got to see just how deep his lyrics were. And he's said before that he wrote that song for a time period when he was in love with someone, and just feelings of particular memories that you never want to end. But like some of the lyrics in the chorus of that are, if anything could ever feel as real forever, if anything could ever be this good again. And then there's a part about like, like if somebody's tickling you and you want them to say uncle or win, like give up. And that's part of that chorus is to remind him not to stop when I say win. So it's a good reminder of those like amazing memories that you never want to let go of and to keep forever. So that's why, and I have several tattoos and several of them are music related, and like on my wrist it says Everlong, because it's just, I want to remember what those lyrics mean to me forever. So that's my pick.
Well, thank you. And joining us right now is Kristy. Kristy, how do you pronounce your last name?
Doucet-Touchet. Yes, I make that complicated.
Okay. Touchet. Is that right?
Yeah, Touchet.
Oh,
And the French way of saying it is touche.
Always got to ask, especially with Louisiana names. So welcome, Director of Human Resources. With the name of your organization?
It's Schoolment.
Schoolment, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you were on our first episode. Thanks for joining us again. Just to bring in, we're talking about music on this episode. So thank you very much for joining us.
Kristy got all kind of fancy degrees too, and like certifications, all kind of stuff. Just like Kimmi, like she got like her business, like the end of her business card is way longer than the beginning. Like, I'm jealous.
Yeah, those things don't mean anything. They're just pieces of paper. That's what I tell everyone. It's experience, life experience. That's what matters.
Right. And you've seen that especially in your human resource work.
Oh yes, I mean I have seen a lot of people come out of college thinking they know everything, or what college sells people is not actually accurate in the real world. So it's a big discrepancy.
That's true. And I wonder if Veronica remembers the advice I gave her about why she needed her degree, not because of any other reason than what be. It's important. I want you to answer that question, if you remember.
I was told the only reason I needed a degree was so that people would actually give me the chance and look at what I could do.
So they couldn't hold not having a degree against you. That was what I told you. Like, don't let them don't give them a reason not to consider you.
I summed it up.
Yeah, but did I tell you you needed it to be successful? No, you don't. But a lot of times, unfortunately, because you are female, you're not going to get the same opportunities. And Kristy can speak to that now that she's seeing it, like in the real world. Like, I'm not making this up. And so anytime I can help females, and especially that are caring and that want to be that want to lead people, I try to make that happen if I can, because I think, again, going back to why that Whitney song was so special to me is because that my mom was by far the most influential person in my life, and she's no longer around, but she's always dropping clues, and I'm not making these clues up. Like I got witnesses on on air, so I know she's watching out, and so now I do things that I think that she would expect me to do, because she always knew I had these gifts that I didn't know I had, and she was always my biggest fan, and you know she's the one that convinced me that you know the only thing impossible is what we make ourselves think is impossible, and for that I'll always be grateful, and you know so I try to help when I can, right, Kristy? How am I doing?
You've been doing great.
Thank you. It's important, like because if you don't ask, you know, I try to like I try to, you know, I push boundaries, but I also tell people that boundaries push back, and just be, you know, but if you do it for the right reason, it doesn't really matter if you push that boundary for the right reason, you know, it'll usually work out the right way. But, you know, I encourage people if they, you know, if I'm doing, like I'm the first person to say, if you got a problem, think I'm like making HR issues, go talk to HR about me. I encourage you to do so. I encourage you definitely. If you feel threatened by me, go talk to somebody. Like I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't tell our people to do that, and I tell them to, and you know I try not to hold that against them when they do, you know. But in order to be able to do that, you got to know that it's going to bother you, so you better find somebody to talk to about it, so you can not let that bother or that bias, the real word for it, in make you make bad decisions in business because of personal feelings, and that's really hard to do.
You
So
got to
and
take your feelings and emotions out of decisions when it comes to business. Unfortunately, you know, and that's very, very, just like you said, it's hard for a lot of people to do. One of the best advice I gotten on a podcast one time was this individual had talked about, and I don't know if there's an echo. I hear an echo. Sorry. Where he says every human interacts from one of two places, either from love or fear, and where are you interacting from? And so when you're making decisions or challenge yourself, think, am I reacting from a place of fear, or am I reacting from a place there I actually love and care about this person?
Well, that I have to say that's good to know from HR, because sometimes the reputation that HR has is an emotionless just entity.
but that I got a theory on that. And Kristy knows my theory. Like my theory is when HR becomes obsessed with compliance, when their mission becomes compliance, it, their mission no longer serves the mission of the overall organization. And when in fact, they often become like cross, and that so what ends up happening is you have internal departments pushing against your real mission. Like your HR department, rather than adding value to your business mission, is actually, you know, stifling creativity and making things, you know. So the one thing that I think we did well at Quality, because Kristy and I worked so well together, was that we didn't let that happen. Like she was always helping with operations, like telling us how we could get it done and be in compliance, rather than saying this is not in compliance. Like we would, you know, we'd have to process 100 people a day from a foreign country. We had to do it. Like we had business demands that required we do that. So rather than tell, I didn't know any better. Nobody did it this way. I don't know why, but it seemed smart to me. Like Kristy and I did it. Like we would put the plan together and execute it, but she would tell us, like, this is what we need to do to to make it happen. Not y'all can't do it. Like that's the difference.
We have to be solution based. So you have to think of it as this is the issue, but there's got to be a way to do it. And I always say, no matter what, there's always a way to do something. You just got to figure it out.
I know that wasn't about music, but that was pretty important. So I'm glad we got that out.
speaking of music, so the question that we were thinking about was music that influenced us, particular artist or particular song. Looking at adolescence, although it doesn't have to be limited to that, high school, college years.
High school, no, but I wanted the high school answer. Like I answered, so like, and I even changed my answer. I had that answer prepared for you guys, and I said, "Well, that's not really fair," and it wasn't right. The answer I had thought about all night, that like, so I would look like I was really smart. Um, I didn't even use because it wasn't turned out not to be true what I thought about it. But I would like to hear who's Drea's biggest influence in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that would be very interesting to me because she listens to a lot of what I listen to and don't tell people I listen to.
I want to say maybe not necessarily influencing me in high school, because even in high school, I listened to like a plethora of music, but probably the most impactful artist and song at that time would have been um, Erykah Badu. She had a debut album, Baduism, that came out in 1997. And I had an older cousin. I actually consider him a brother, but he ended up moving to the area to go to college. And if you know about the relationships that like big brothers have with little sisters, sometimes it's always contentious. You don't have anything in common with them, so you more like a pest. And that's kind of how I was, even though he was a few years older than me. And then one day he saw that I had the album on CD, and then suddenly I was cool. So we bonded. That became the basis of our relationship, and we bonded over music frequently. And it started with that Erykah Badu CD, on and on. And then he was the one who introduced me to Stevie Wonder. Like everybody knows who Stevie Wonder is, but he introduced me to Stevie Wonder and Innovisions.
He was right about that too, right, Drake?
What?
Introducing you to Stevie. You ever
Yeah,
heard him play drums?
I saw when I saw Stevie in concert, and I know it's gonna be like another thing that we discuss our memorable concerts, but I saw him pull out all of these instruments, some that I don't even know the names of. But that for me, that was like that record, or I'm sorry, that CD and that song was like the basis of what became the closest friendship that I had in my life, and that all started in high school.
I knew you would have a great answer. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I have a
That-
better one
that-
related to Stevie, but I'll wait till we get to that when we broach the subject after
Oh,
Ray brings it
All
up.
right.
Hey, look, you learn. Even I learned. I love Stevie. Like y'all know that because I play a lot of his music in the updates in the morning. And I've been listening to Stevie my whole life. And that documentary on Netflix. I mean, not Hulu, huh? The Summer of Soul. When I saw that cat play drums, I think I texted Kimmy that day. I said, "Have you ever seen Stevie Wonder play drums? You need to watch. It was unbelievable what that cat could do. Like it was. I mean, it was unbelievable. If y'all haven't seen that documentary, you need to watch it just to watch Stevie play drums. I'm telling you, it was like I kept going. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable, and I thought I knew Stevie. Little did I know, he was a percussionist master as well.
Kristy, do you have a song in mind or an artist in mind?
From high school days? Oh boy, this is hard. Not easy. I'm looking at my playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all doing this morning.
I'm like, wait, which song do I have? The artist I think that like sticks out to me the most from high school that was played by my cousin over and over again was Metallica. And that's something that I was so nerdy in high school that no one ever think I'd listen to heavy metal like that. And it is, it's kind of one of those things that changed. It helped me open up my music genre. So now I've listened to everything. And Metallica is still one of my favorite all-time bands. But I think that in that aspect, it played an impact. Now, the most song, when I'm thinking back to the 90s in my life, it would be a country music song. I cannot remember who sings it right now off the top of my head, but Time Marches On. And it just talks about how our life changes and how quickly it goes. And it's just something that reminds me to take advantage of every moment that we have in this life.
Tracy Lawrence?
Yes, I think it is Tracy Lawrence. Yep.
How about that, Ray? Nice. Very nice. Great answer. Actually, there's a great, I don't know if you know, Kimmi turned me on to a great cover, a great Metallica cover. And Miley Cyrus is the main vocalist on it, which I thought it was going to be crap, but it's actually really good. It's really, really good.
What was the song?
Which one is it? What's
I'm
going
not
on?
giving, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
Nothing else matters. It's nothing else matters. Yeah,
It is.
I know.
It is. Drea, that Erica Badu album was fantastic. That does not surprise me in the least. I thought you were in high school in '97.
I wasn't in high school in '97. I was in high school from '99 to 2002. I graduated a year early, but I'm a little bit behind on some things, so I ended up discovering, quote unquote, the album a little bit after it came out.
And I know now, but back before like we actually talked, I would have always assumed you were older than me because of how much you
They always
know
say I
about
have an old soul, so
how much now I know that your cousin had that much influence on you, which is special. But uh, Motown, like that old Motown sound, which my mom loved too, and I heard a lot coming up, was very important to me. So I thought you were older, but like I said, that doesn't really matter. Like because you like it all, and those Prince albums were like that. That just blew me away. It did surprise me, but it just blew me away. And I can't wait till we get to like go listen to them and cut up together. Because I go to New Orleans often.
that's gonna be fun.
But I'm scary, so watch out. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not really scary. Ask Kristy. I'm not. I am nuts, but I'm not. I'm not scary.
Does everyone have a particular, whether it's their very first concert, that's usually a memorable one, or any other music experience that impacted them?
I have one.
Yeah.
So years ago, like one of my first jobs, I was working at a car dealership here in Lafayette. And I don't know if y'all remember T.D. Smith from 97.3 The Dog back in the day, who actually, unfortunately, just recently passed away. He used to do live remotes from the radio, the car dealerships at the time. That was the big deal. And George Strait, country music legend, was in town, and I was in college and I had absolutely no money whatsoever. And of course, I was too embarrassed to ask for tickets. And I was running errands that day. He was at the dealership. I ran into him. He said, "Hey, you going to the concert?" I said, "No, I don't have money for that." He's like, "Well, why you didn't ask me? I could have got you tickets." I said, "That's just." He's like, "Let me see what I can do." So later in the afternoon, I went back and he's like, "Hey, guess what? I got you 2 tickets, but I even got you something better." He handed me a backstage pass. And I got to actually go backstage, meet George Strait, and kind of find out he gave me his own personal backstage pass to go to that event. And that is one of the most memorable things that has stood out for the rest of my life, just because of the kindness that this man I barely knew gave me all of this and the opportunity to meet such a huge music legend.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Mine, it's weird that it happens to happen today. Like when you're on your Facebook, you can check your memories section of what you've posted in the past. So I discovered today, looking through that it was 4 years ago today that I got to cross off my number one thing on my bucket list, which was to see my very favorite band, the Foo Fighters, came to town. Gosh, I just loved them so much. And it was amazing. Like they just went on and played for like 3.5 hours and just all like some bands you go see now and you might spend so much money on tickets and you're lucky if they give you an hour. And they did it for so long. And there was this one part that, at the time, I wish I had more video of this kind of stuff now, but I was so focused on, I want to be in the moment and not just have my camera up the whole time. But now, when I say what I'm going to say in a second, there's a reason for wishing I had that now. There was like midway through the set, there's a part where like one of the risers that the drum set is on come up from behind and Taylor, their drummer, like he's way in the air doing this like 10-minute crazy drum solo. And percussion is one of my main instruments, so I always love drummers. He's my favorite drummer, and it was crazy seeing him do that. And today is actually 4 weeks since he passed away, and now knowing that I may not ever get to see them again, because he and Dave were so close. And after he lost Kurt, now he's lost his other best friend. Like I don't know that they would ever go on again in the same type of way. I'm sure they'll play something again, but it won't be quite the same without him. So at least I know that I got that experience before all of that happened. Right. And it was 4 years ago today. So that was the best concert I've ever been to.
Thank you for sharing it. And sympathies to all Foo Fighter fans, because as Kimmi mentioned, Taylor Hawkins having passed away just last month.
I have 10 songs that I put on the playlist, so I want everybody to check out the intermission playlist and let me know what y'all think.
One particular concert for me, which is probably different from anyone else's experience because of the genre of music, but it's what got me hooked into this particular genre, and that's classical music. It was right after I graduated college. There's a free concert performed by one of the local symphonies in Queens, in New York, where I'm from. And they were putting on a 9/11 memorial concert. So this was back in 2007, so 6 years after that tragic event, and it was at a local church. But it was Gabriel Fauré's Requiem, and so full orchestra. And I've never listened to music that, especially this particular type of music, that made me cry during a concert. And I'm like, wow, like I had no idea that music could do this to me. And so after that, that's what got me hooked to. I have an eclectic taste in music, but to classical music in particular, that it became a tradition of mine every year, for example, to go to Carnegie Hall and listen to Handel's Messiah. That became part of my holiday tradition, for example. So, but I remember that, very well. It was a weekday. It was in the afternoon, probably about 4 o'clock. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow.
Yeah, I got one of our Rockstar Aces. Ashley Doré is going to post a link to the Spotify intermission playlist. Mm-hmm. And what I'll do is I'll post it on my Spotify profile and make it collaborative. So anybody wants to add songs, go ahead and feel free to add songs. So thanks, Ashley. You are the best. Thank you so much.
Anyone else with live music experiences?
I got a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my most probably like regrettable music experiences is when I was in, I think it was like middle school, like 7th, 8th grade. I went to, I got backstage passes to the Three Doors Down concert, went to the concert, and part of the backstage pass thing, it was when Planet Radio, for those that are in like the Lafayette area, was still around, and they were still 96.5. I my name got pulled to have the Three Doors Down 17 Days album dedicated to me. And so in this beautiful like plaque was the platinum album with this little placard that said dedicated to Ronnie Noble, because that was my nickname in middle school. And then I didn't realize like how like cool I guess that was and how important it was. So when I broke up with my middle school boyfriend and my heart was broken forever, and that was his favorite band, I threw the album away.
You did not.
Oh,
I did, guys, I did.
Wow.
So that's probably my most regrettable one. But then I got to meet them again, and I did ask permission beforehand, but I asked the lead singer if I could have permission to squeeze his butt, and it was a nice squeeze. And it was perfect because I squeezed his butt right as they were taking the picture. And I'll try to see if I can find the picture, but his face said it all because I don't think he thought I was serious. And I used to do stagehanding, so like I've set up a couple concerts for different artists, and for the most part, like they're all cool to be around and hang out with.
that didn't become a particular tradition for you for all the artists that you
I have my most memorable concert is Lollapalooza, New Orleans, '92. I think the one I told you. I think it was '92 because I got to see Ice Cube, I got to see Pearl Jam, I got to see the Chili Peppers, Jane's Addiction. I think Cypress Hill was there. I'm not gonna swear to that because I was kind of roasted, but I think they were supposed to be there. Uh, I'm trying to remember. Pearl Jam was awesome. Ice Cube was awesome. Um, I think the Soul Temple Pilots were there, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, then started to come back together toward the end, and I know the Chili Peppers were awesome. Soundgarden was awesome. So it was just it was the first time I had been to a huge music fest. That's not true. I mean, I've been to the Jazz Fest a million times, but that was a good mix of music that I really, really uh, enjoyed all through when I was in the Army and through college. Uh, and I got to see Ice Cube, so that was like bonus bucks. And he got to I mean, he played Gangsta Gangsta like he wanted to play it, and it was it was awesome. So that was still memorable, and it was cool. A lot of my really good friends from high school and college, we all we all went. It brought us all back together. It was I had just gotten back from being in the army. We all went crazy, and it was a crazy, it was a crazy good show. So uh, very fun. My dad lived in New Orleans, and we hit his house beforehand, and he thought he was a gangster till he saw my friends. Anyway, we had a great time. And I still remember it well.
Drea, did you have
I just
Yeah,
wanted to say that the playlist is in the chat. Aslan is effective.
so what's going to come up a lot in this conversation if we get to talking about favorite artists, favorite concerts, favorite albums? 9 times out of 10 for me, it's going to be Stevie Wonder. Okay. Um, in 2014 and 2015, he was embarking on a tour to commemorate, I think, the 30th anniversary of the Songs in the Key of Life. No, 30th or 40th. Anyway, he came to New Orleans, Smoothie King Center, and I said, I'm going to allow myself the opportunity to see him in concert because this was after, I think this was around the time that we started just like losing, all these legendary musicians. Um, so I ended up buying 2 tickets, 4 seats to go see. And my cousin, the same one that I mentioned that introduced me to Stevie Wonder, I was like, hey, do you want to take a trip down here and go see the concert with me? So we did. It was amazing. I think it was like 3 hours long, and we got to see a lot of Stevie's personality. And he sounded just as good as he did on the record. Uh, besides that, the benefit of seeing him floor seats in concert live, um, it meant a lot to me because my cousin would often tell me like, "Hey, this was one of the top 5 experiences of my lifetime." You know, obviously the birth of his daughter was number 1, but that would always be like in the top 3. And he just bring it up often when, and like I said, he was my best friend. Um, he ended up passing away in 2020, and it was sudden, it was shocking, and I was overwhelmed with grief, obviously. And I think the day after he passed away, I didn't really do a lot. I stayed in bed, and then the day after that, I got up, I said a little prayer, and without getting too religious or going into the intricacies of personal spirituality, I said a prayer. I said, God, just give me a sign that I don't need to worry about him or he's okay. So I got up and I began doing what he would do in a situation like that, because he was kind of like I guess, the rock of the family, making sure that everybody was happy, making sure that if they were down, he would do something like throw a barbecue or just throw a party to celebrate because he never liked seeing anybody in bad spirits. So I said, I'm going to do what he would do in a situation like this. I'm going to run to the grocery store, light up the grill, and just celebrate as if he was here. And again, I said my little prayer. I went into the Walmart. It took a lot of strength to be able to go out in public when you're in the throes of grief like that. But the entire time, I was just like, God, give me the comfort and strength to be able to do this menial task without breaking down crying. And so I managed to do it. I got back, you know, got what I was getting, went back to my truck, put the groceries away. And as I turned the radio on, the song that was playing on the satellite radio was like right at the bridge of Stevie Wonder's "Don't You Worry About a Thing," and that was such an important, or like, I think Jody, you mentioned that you get hints here and there, and for me, that song playing at the very moment where Stevie's just singing over and over again, "Don't you worry about a thing," and the fact that it came from my cousin's favorite album, Inner Visions. Um, that's why and I'm getting emotional, sorry, but that's why that concert and those memories that I created with him are so important to me to this day. But that's the message that I got, and yeah, that's why Stevie's always going to be. I mean, he was number 1 before that, but I felt like that was a divine message on that day to give me comfort when I thought it was impossible for me to feel comfort. So that's it.
Thank you for sharing that, Drea.
No problem.
All right.
You got special ability.
We well, we gotta take intermission from 12. We're gonna roll some tunes.
Yes, so we'll have our intermission playlist. How long are we going for the intermission, Jody?
I was gonna say 12 to 12:20, but I mean whatever. Like whatever.
Let's say 12:20 for next 20 minutes. So,
Try to
Jody,
get it
cue that up.
try to get it to
Thanks very much, Ashlyn. And Jody's gonna cue up the playlist, and we'll go till 12:20.
Did y'all hear it? Or could everyone hear it? The music?
It was a little choppy on my end. I'm not sure about everyone else.
Yeah, I didn't think it was playing like it was going through. Ray, can you do it? Like you have Spotify?
I may have it. I'm not sure because I use Apple Music.
What about Kristy? Can you do it from your end?
I'm gonna try to search for it.
I know there's probably a way to do it better than I'm doing it. Let me know. Well, everybody figures out sooner or later we're gonna have a gap with this LinkedIn Live thing. That's why I waited until the end. First hour still at 5.
No, we're still good.
We're still good. We need to figure out how to do this though.
Yeah, we're gonna have to Google it.
I was waiting for somebody to do that. I was waiting for somebody to be smarter than I was. Because I think it was just playing through, it wasn't giving you guys the audio. I shared the screen, but it didn't do like on Teams where it shared the audio. It was playing the audio from my speakers, not from the feed itself.
Could figure this out.
I know we could. Isn't there a way to link Spotify?
That I do not know.
We welcome comments from the audience. Hey, where's Ross Brasso at? Like, he's supposed to be so smart. Where you at now, Ross? Where you at now, big boy?
I see an article talking about Spotify and LinkedIn working on Clubhouse style audio.
I know, but I mean, it don't help if we don't know how to do it. Obviously, we proved that. Hey, not any one of us on here claims to be a tech expert, as you saw from our introduction. It did not say our tech expert is not here. Where's Jerry?
What I'm gonna do, Jody, is
like I was gonna say, Orgel got the answer, but I can't find. Yeah, it's not. I can find how to share the screen, Orgel, but I can't find how to transfer the audio, like with the screen share. It doesn't have that same button. Like it just transfers it automatically. Let me see if I can.
Is audio coming out on your end?
Oh, here we go. Wait, I might have found it.
Everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out.
Did it work, Ray?
You say your style of life's a drag, and that you must go other places.
Yeah, of course.
But just don't you feel too bad when you get fooled by smiling faces. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. When you get off your trip, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh,
Listen, everyone, the time will come when all of us say goodbye. Feel that aching in your heart, leaving you broken inside. But we're never really gone, as long as there's a memory in your mind. So now go do the best things in life. Take a bite of this world while you can. Make the most of the rest of your life. Make a ride of this world while you can. Take the ones you love and hold them close, because there is little time. And don't let it break your heart. I know it feels hopeless sometimes, but they're never really gone, as long as there's a memory in your mind. So now go do the best things in life. Take a bite of this world while you can. Make the most of the rest of your life. Make a ride of this world while you can. And hold on to memories. Hold on to every moment to keep them alive. The world's greatest tragedy, souls who are not remembered cannot So now go do the best things in life. Bring the fight to this world while you can. Make the most of the rest of your life. Shine your light on this world while you can. And hold on to memories. Hold on to every moment to keep them alive. The world's greatest tragedy,
Sister cries out from her baby bed. Brother runs in, feathers on his head. Mama's in her room, learning how to sew. Daddy's drinking beer, listening to the radio. Hank Williams sings Elijah and Dear John. And time marches on. Time marches on. Sisters using rouge and clear complexion soap. Brother's wearing beads and he smokes a lot of dope. Mama is depressed, barely makes a sound. Daddy's got a girlfriend in another town. Bob Dylan sings like a rolling stone. And time marches on. Time marches on. South moves north, north moves south. A star is born, a star burns out. The only thing that stays the same is everything changes, everything changes. Sister calls herself a sexy grandma. Brother's on a diet for high cholesterol. Mama's out of touch with reality. Daddy's in the ground beneath the maple tree as the angels sing an old Hank Williams song. Time marches on. 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 Time marches on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Far too kind. Yeah. Ready? Let's go. Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, nigga, make some noise. Get him, Jay. Who you know fresher than Ho? Riddle me that. The rest of y'all know where I'm lyrically at. Can none of y'all mirror me back? Yeah, hear me rap, it's like Han G rapping his prime. I'm young H.O., rap's Grateful Dead. Back to take over the globe, now break bread. I'm in Boeing Jets, Global Express. Out the country, but the blueberries still connect. On the low, but the yacht got a triple deck. But when you young, what the fuck you expect? Yep. Grand opening, grand closing. Goddamn your manhole, crack the can open again. Who you gonna find open a hand with no pen? Just draw inspiration. Who you gonna see you can't replace him with cheap imitations of these generations? Hardcore, do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Yeah. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, nigga, make some noise. What the hell are you waiting for? Look what you made me do, look what I made for you. Knew if I paid my dues, how will they pay you? When you first come in the game, they try to play you. Then you drop a couple of hits, look how they wave to you. From Marcy to Madison Square, to the only thing that matters is just a matter of years. As fate would have it, J status appears to be at an all-time high. Perfect time to say goodbye. When I come back like Jordan, we're in the 4-5. It ain't to play games with you, it's to aim at you, probably maim you. If I owe you, I'm blowing you to smithereens. Cocksucker, take one for your team. And I need you to remember one thing. I came, I saw, I conquer. From record sale, sold out concerts. So motherfucker, if you want this encore, I need you to scream till your lungs get sore. Come on.
I'm tired of being what you want me to be. Feeling so faithless, lost under the surface. Don't know what you're expecting of me, but under the pressure of walking in your shoes. Every step that I take is another mistake to you. And every second I waste is more than I can take. Life becomes so numb, I can't feel you there. Become so tired, so much more aware. I'm becoming this. All I want to do is be more like me and be less like you. Become so numb.
Then I get an encore. Do you want more? More.
I've become so numb.
So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. One last time, I need y'all to roll.
I had to turn that off. I wouldn't be able to come back on. Ooh, that one gets me every time. Every single time. Every single time. Ooh, what's happening?
We could be listening to music forever. That was great.
That was some good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, I just want to give some music shout outs to like some local artists real quick. If
Yeah, please do.
I think everyone heard our theme music that's provided actually by Lil Nate. He's Nathan Williams Jr. He is from from our area. He's actually I think a professor of traditional music now at UL Lafayette. And his father, Big Nate, also is a Zydeco legend in Louisiana. And we have a bunch of good festivals coming around, and I really want to give a shout out to this is what I'm saying. Like, this music is generational because Lil Nate's music is real fun. I mean, he does a really, really good job of incorporating some new artists. So he does that sometimes. He makes it fun. Teaches at UL. He's giving back. He's making sure Zydeco's really closely related to Cajun music, and the only difference really is an accented note. And but you can tell the difference. But there's a lot of similarities. Same instruments, same beat, overall music structure. Just a couple accents of the measure, and it really makes it different, but the same. And I prefer Zydeco. My wife prefers Wade Toops. I prefer Lil Nate. I mean, that makes us different, but it's still great music. Well, anyway, Festivals International is coming up in Lafayette starting on April 27th, which is next Wednesday. And how often can you get to see this? You're gonna get to see Big Nathan, like Nathan and the Zydeco Cha-Chas. He's gonna be playing at 6:30 on Wednesday night. And then right after that, Lil Nate, which is Lil Nate and the Zydeco Big Thomas is going to close it out Wednesday night. So you can see him back to back. The following weekend, I know Lil Nate's playing at the Crawfish Festival in Breaux Bridge. And I think both his father and he are playing one weekend at Jazz Fest, if I'm not mistaken. I know for sure Big Nathan is playing at the Jazz Fest this year. I didn't check to see if Lil Nate was, because I know Lionel's playing for sure. And they also switched out the Chili Peppers for the Fools, because the Fools were supposed to be at Jazz Fest this year. And of course, with Taylor passing, they're not going to be playing. And the Chili Peppers and Nine Inch Nails stepped up to fill in most of those spots that the Foo Fighters, because they were headlining, a bunch of different things. And so that was big of them to, all step up and kind of change their schedule, because I think everybody had a ton of respect, not only for Taylor, who was a fantastic musician, very, very talented. He was well liked as well, and so is Dave, because they both just, great people. Um, like we used to go to Hangout Fest in Gulf Shores, and the year he played, I think I told a story. One of the bands didn't show up. Dave got up there, played for an hour by himself. Like, just that's the kind of guy he was. And he was the headliner. Just kind of guy he was. But they were all like that. Um, so Breaux Bridge Crawfish Festival, I want to give them a shout out. That is May 6th, 7th, 8th in Breaux Bridge. And Lil Date is playing Sunday evening. Also, Richard LeBuff is playing Sunday evening. Got the New Orleans Jazz Fest Friday, April 29th to Sunday, May 1st. Got Lionel playing the first week. I think he's maybe Friday. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. And then that also goes the same weekend as Crawfish Festival too, because the Jazz Fest is one of the only festivals I know that's two separate weekends, and it's an experience. I encourage everyone to go. I just encourage everyone to be prepared for a lot of walking. Be prepared for big, huge crowds. It's in a racetrack, like it's at the fairgrounds, which is it's a racetrack, and it's a lot of people in one area. New Orleans is a little bit different town. Everybody knows that, but it's really safe, and there's a good mix of traditional jazz, a lot of Louisiana type music like Zydeco, and they'll do Cajun music, and then there's 500,000 people there at least every year, and this year it's going to be huge, I think, because we haven't had it in 2 years. So, and also one of our ACE pandemic response people who never gives herself enough credit. I'm going to say Katrina Perillo. I love you, by the way. I'm giving a shout out to Katrina Perillo. She is the only person in the entire world that can sell gelato at Jazz Fest. She is the only person in the entire world that can do that. How good do you think that gelato is? How good do you think that gelato is? So that is a coveted spot. So go check her out at Jazz Fest. She's not only she was a great research supervisor for us. She's a great person. She lives in New Orleans, and I love you, Katrina. So there's your shout out. And plus, it's made to order, because I learned that gelato is a lot more challenging than ice cream, because it doesn't keep, because it's served at a higher temperature. So it doesn't keep, like it has to be, made. There's a reason Katrina's there, because she does it well, and it takes some skill. So anyway, and go check out Lionel too, because he's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. We didn't even talk about Lionel yet. That's the only dude in my Spotify top 10 twice. He's like Dave Grohl. What did I say? He's like Dave Grohl into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to my Spotify top 10. He's in with the Commodores and by himself, and I can assure you, there is not one post Lionel Commodore song that I have checked off on my like songs list. So Lionel made it twice. I listened to him a lot. As you know, I listened to a lot of different stuff. Anyway, enough of me rambling.
No, you're good. Thanks for highlighting our local artists, Jody. That is so important. Of course, you have those who get their names in lights. Those on the Billboard charts, but we also have to. People start off somewhere.
Hey, look, Lil Date he's big time. He's famous. Like, he plays with some famous rappers. He's and like, if you want to dance, like that is the music to dance to. It's just so much fun, and Lil Date does it better than anybody. I'm telling you, he is he's absolutely fantastic. My wife hates when we go to festivals, because if he's playing, it's over. I'm up. Like, there's no, like, I can't help myself. She runs because she likes. No, it kind of does throw. If you came up dancing to like swaying tubes, and then you dance to Zydeco. It's different. That half beat throws you. Ask Kristy, she knows what I'm talking about. It throws people. So if like she always feels like when she's dancing to Zydeco that she's a half beat behind me, which I feel like everybody's a half beat behind me anyway, but because I'm probably off beat. But anyway, but some people prefer it, but it's very, very similar, but it's not the same. And Kristy knows exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah. I always tell everyone in Louisiana we have 3 different types of music. We got Cajun, we have Zydeco, and we have Swamp Pop. And you dance differently to all of them.
And they all use the same instruments. The only difference is accented measures. That is the difference. Now, some of those artists are now kind of blending. When you get twisted is when they blend like real Cajun and real Zydeco. And sometimes that happens, and they have trouble playing together. Like really, really good Cajun artists and really, really good Zydeco artists have the same problem that really good Cajun dancers and really good Zydeco dancers have. That have it's not a it's an accent. It's not a what it's it really is like it's like an extra half beat, right? Is that like I'm trying to simplify it for I can't a
Yeah,
lot of times
I'd
I
have to
can't.
look at the key
I'm
signature.
having a Veronica issue.
There
I
might
know
be a
what I want to
difference
say, I
in
just
key
can't get it
signature.
out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's what makes it beautiful, though. I mean, it's fun. It keeps it interesting, and there's a lot of great music around here.
It is, and look, I gotta say this because my husband owns a local bar here in Maurice, and every other Saturday he has live Cajun jam sessions where Cajun musicians just come in, play. Richard LaBeouf will come in. We'll have different ones that just go sit out there and just jam out on a Saturday.
That is awesome.
See,
I know we have
cool.
Ashlyn mentioned Jared Lane and Dustin Saunier
Saunier.
as well as good artists. Right?
We didn't mention Keith Frank. That's my favorite.
Keith Frank. I Keith Frank. What's up, Dre? You quiet? You back?
I'm here. I'm taking down the names of all these artists because
Don't
that's
worry about
one
that.
area I feel like I should know more, but yeah.
Well, you live in New Orleans, am I correct?
No, I live in Monroe. I'm on I-20.
That's why, like, I don't know who these people are. Drea and I live in the northern part of the state where we never hear this stuff.
I'll be even more impressed. Drea. Even more impressed. No, you need to come down to Lafayette. If you want to go see Lil Nate, anytime you want to go, like if you like to dance, like I'm your man. I'm in. I'm there. Like I will make it happen. I'm not shy.
You could come to Two Chats.
I'm not shy. That's like I wanted to say like the most fun I ever had. Like people, we were talking about how people often criticize Kurt Cobain's voice for no good reason, and Kimmi said that MTV special that they did kind of
Unplugged.
confirms that she's right, and I agree. Like, because when I went to Saudi Arabia, I got to sing on stage like with a real band, like in front of 1,000 some people. Well, you didn't see the pictures? Like I was really up there with my UL hat on backwards, and I tried to sing "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and trying to sing that one. Like, I mean, that thing is hard to sing. Like, good thing I got a lot of energy because that's what I did. I used my energy and the band was really good. It was fun, but like that's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to sing what he's saying and then to do it well because I didn't do it well. I just had fun doing it.
Well, Jody, we know you dance. Do you also sing in general?
But I don't sing well. Yeah, I sing. Of course I do. I just don't do it well. Like, there's a lot of things I do that I don't do well, but I do them with passion.
Yeah, I think that's how it counts.
It gets so sometimes I get away with stuff that I'm probably not very good at because I throw a lot of passion at it. I sang at my sister's wedding. I think y'all heard that recording.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all do. So it wasn't horrible, but that also proves that Lionel Richie, you think it's easy to sing Lionel because he makes it look easy. There's a reason he makes it look easy because he's good. Like he's good. He talked about how when he made that country album, he sang with Willie and all of them, and he's like, everybody tries to complicate it. You just take funk and add a guitar. That's you add a guitar to funk, and there you go in country. That's what he said. I mean, he's just he can do whatever he wants. Kind of he just does what he likes. He's like super talented. So I mean, I like all kind of different things. Ray probably was shocked that I have a Chinese classical pianist in my top 5 on Spotify. I think that would through everyone probably. Because Tupac's also in my top 5, and so is Elvis.
And this is why you're the Melomaniac.
This is why. And Drea, the only person that I know that I use Spotify almost exclusively. So now I do use YouTube when I do videos to send out to in our morning updates. And so last year was because we did morning updates, I was a little bit off, so I would give Drea some a little bit of she had a little bit of an advantage because I was off using the little YouTube, but I've never met somebody that just absolutely wiped the floor with me with total volume of listening to Spotify. But like she beat me bad, and I was feeling bad because people gonna think I don't work at all because like you see somebody else, they're like 3,000, mine was like 18,000. I'm thinking I'm the man, and then Drea posts hers, it's like 30-something thousand, like, oh, no wonder.
When you mentioned singing, Jody, just for those who are not familiar, the song that you sang by the Commodores, was that Sail On?
No, it was not. It was easy.
Easy, okay.
But it wasn't. Like, it wasn't easy. No, the song that I was gonna sing was but we didn't do it because they had that surge. We were gonna rent Grouse Room or something. Brady got a relationship with one of the guys that owns a club in Lafayette called the Grouse Room, and there's a stage, and I was gonna try to sing "Sail On," which, hey, if y'all want to come check me out, I'm gonna do it. I'm just not promising the results. Like I don't sweat the results. I'll put in as much prep as I got, and I'll go do it. And if it sucks, it sucks. But I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm just not gonna sweat the result, right? Where's V at? He disappeared on us. Oh,
I'm right here. I am right here.
you are off though. Nobody can see you. I had that little.
Just because y'all hide me doesn't mean that I'm gonna be quiet.
Oh look, we got Stacy on. How'd you get over here,
Stacy
Stacy?
is on as well. Hey there, Stacy. Special guest.
What's up, Stacy?
Stacy Auntie.
You're surprising me. Like we got a surprise guest. Stacy got a taste of how crazy, how really nuts I am last week. It was Friday. Was it? I don't even remember. Like I had a tough week. I needed Stacy. I needed some pick me up.
It was a day.
Huh?
It was a day like every other day.
No, but when was it? Like I don't remember.
It was last Friday.
It was a day. Like I wasn't at work. I came to work anyway, and we did things. It was a day.
Yeah, but I needed it. Like I really needed it. We had a lot of fun, and Stacy, I guess, like confirmed, like, hey, he really is that nuts. Yep, I am. That's me. But we had a good time. I think you had a good time, Stacy. Is that fair? But now you're not going to talk, huh? You came on just to tease us?
That mute button's hard to find sometimes, okay?
I know.
And she's got one working hand today. So.
That's true. Yeah, she made me feel bad. But anyway, Stace lives up there with y'all, huh? Like in North Louisiana, that other state.
Yes.
The other state.
She's in Shreveport. She comes to all my kids' birthday parties and all kinds of fun stuff.
I'm teasing. I'm there. Like I like every time I've always had, like, we had my daughter played in a volleyball tournament in Shreveport. I've been to Shreveport a few times. I know I've never had mean, I didn't mind it. And I
You
wouldn't want to live
start
there.
here long enough, stay longer, and you'll know why.
Well,
you
we
hate
got you. We got you across the border, Kimmi. Give us a chance. Our pull's strong down here in the South. We need you. We're pulling you closer. We got you over from Texas. Now it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Drea. I thought for sure with your taste of music that you were from New Orleans.
I get that a lot, you know. But despite being on I-20 in Monroe, I try to make sure that I expand my interest beyond what I'm accustomed to. So I
Well,
feel like I could do a little bit better with the regional music in South Louisiana, period. You know, I'm a big fan of Irma Thomas. Out of she was born in where Ponchatoula, the queen of
New
soul.
Orleans Queen of Soul. The New Orleans Queen of Soul. Are you kidding me? That's one of my that's one of my influential. That was one of my choices for the high school thing.
I love
Like
her.
Whitney came out of the blue. Like I'm telling you, I wasn't even thinking about Whitney. She wasn't on my paper. Like
Whitney's always a
I
good
had
choice.
Michael. I'd switch back and forth to that answer at the beginning. I switched back and forth between Michael Jackson because of the Thriller album, um, Elvis because he had such an impact on because my mom made us listen to that relentlessly. Um, Irma Thomas again because of my mom. Satchmo, but it was really Whitney that kind of crossed that generational gap for us. It brought us really really close together. She liked Michael Jackson too, but that not enough to admit it. Um, like kind of like Justin Bieber. Nobody wants to admit he's talented. Like he really is talented. A lot of people don't like him. I understand it can be a little, but I mean that kid been under a lot of pressure his whole life. Uh, I think we ought to cut him some slack, Dustin BJ. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Stop hating on the beefster. I hear it. It hurts me, Dustin. It hurts me. I'll stop calling you a Navy guy. Admit you in the Marine Corps.
So I
Joey,
have a question, being that we're coming to the end of this. You're talking about like the generational gap. I was wondering, is there any like foreign song that like when you first heard it, like you just felt what that song meant without understanding the lyrics? Like for example, mine would be it's a Lock Troy song, and like I heard it, I just knew it was a love song, just listening to it. And so like I fell in love with it. Never knew what it meant. And when I looked it up, like what I interpreted it to mean is exactly what his lyrics were. But I couldn't, like, I didn't understand that from the words. Does that
Stacy's
make
back.
sense? So I'm interested in, like, what, if there was a song like that for y'all that you were introduced to that meant something to you.
Can I say something about that? Like, I want to give Cypress Hill some more credit for doing this because um, I don't think a lot of people realize that Cypress Hill was first to bring Spanish language into hip hop. They actually did it, and I shared that song with our crew yesterday on their third album. I don't remember, but they did it, and then they put out a greatest hits album in Spanish, which I think is fantastic, and then went on to kind of make a habit of doing that. And all they get credit for is when you talk about Cypress Hill, what do you think? Oh, the guys that made the Bong song and Insane in the Brain and Smoke Weed. That's who you. But they actually, I think, are still the only rap group with a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Uh, they are not from the United States. They were born in Cuba. The founders. There were two founders. Well, actually, one stayed with the group, and one kind of went on and did his own thing. But they were very very. They did a lot of influential things that they don't get credit for because the Bong song is really cool. It is a really cool melody, and so is Insane in the Brain. I mean, we went to Colorado a couple of years ago, and some youngsters were jamming that. I said, "Oh, look, Insane in the Brain." They're like, "Yeah, who sings that? It must be a new group." I said, "Yeah, no, it's not a new group. They've been around since 1988, kiddos." Sorry to tell you, that's Cypress Hill. What? You kidding? I said, "Nope, I'm not." Anyway, we tried to get Stacy on again, but Like she must be having technical trouble.
V, I'm trying to think of a song. I listened to in my probably 2010s. I started listening to Arab and Israeli music more. Probably because I had gone there twice during that time. But I think it's one of the Middle Eastern artists, Amr Diab, um, where I don't understand any Arabic at all, but I think it was like how you mentioned. It was very much a sentimental song.
I'm laughing, Ray. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I went to the Middle East and heard Nirvana.
Different cultural experience of the Middle East. Right.
And sang Nirvana. How about that?
So for a Nirvana cover band, go to where was it? Was it Bahrain, Dubai?
Bahrain. No, that was
Bahrain.
the Nirvana song they knew. I did not want to sing that one. I said the dude had on a Nirvana shirt, so he came off stage, and I said, "Dude, you don't even know who Nirvana is." That like they were in their 20s. There was they were a group from the Philippines actually.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Right.
and,
Plenty
and
of
they were
people.
good. Like they were fantastic, and they were playing nothing but like old rock. Like and that dude had a Nirvana shirt. I was like, y'all don't know any Nirvana. Yeah, we know Nirvana. I said, if y'all know Nirvana, get up there and sing. They said we gonna hold you to it. I said, well, what song you got? Smells Like Teen. I said, you gotta have another one. How about Come As You Are? I might be able to pull that off. Nope, that's all we got. Oh man! And then Jimbo was there with me. I showed y'all Jimbo yesterday. He was there, so I couldn't like back out. That was Kristy knows Jimbo. He saw me
Yep.
do it. Like, so I'm nuts. Like, he laughed. He got it on film, but I said, dude, come on, you can't film it. I said, if Troy gets his hands on that, it's over. I'll be like, I'll have to stay in Saudi Arabia. I won't be able to come back to the United States ever. Um, he was a good sport about it, but I mean, it was fun. We had a good time. But yeah, he witnessed it. I got witnesses. But it was, anywhere you go, good music is good music because everybody loved. If they were listening to old rock, there's a huge U.S. naval base in Bahrain, like so there was a lot of Americans there, but it was just music brought everybody together in that one place, and it was the biggest, like it was just because it's the only place like around that area that people can go to like go out and drink because like in Saudi Arabia, you can't. There's no drinking. There's no music. None of that kind of stuff. So everybody kind of crosses over that bridge because Bahrain's an island right off the coast of Saudi Arabia, and everybody kind of crosses over to go, listen to music and cut up and do, the stuff all the fun stuff they can't do elsewhere. But they had a bunch of people, big diverse crowd, and everybody loved the music. I mean, it was just, a lot of songs that we talked about today. They're playing Metallica. Uh, you name it, they were playing it. But we had, it was music that brought everybody together. And, I mean, people from everywhere. I mean,
Right. And
every walk of life.
yeah, I mean, just from what I've heard, because I haven't had the pleasure of having the experience of the music festivals that you mentioned, Jody, the number of people who come to that, because of the music.
Yeah, I feel fortunate to live here. I mean, I really do because I mean, we see great music often, and like I know, but I spent a lot of time growing up in New Orleans too, and New Orleans is a great music city. I mean, it absolutely is. You can find great music there. But I want to give Drea, like, I don't think that region gets a lot of credit, and like, you really close to where a lot of great blues musicians came from. Really close to that area where Buddy's from, and where Elvis got his soul from. I mean, that's you're not that far away from that Memphis sound, which
Jody, guess who
is
my
unique.
grandmother grew up with? My grandmother actually was neighbors with Jerry Lee Lewis outside of Faraday as a kid. And then you have Lead Belly, who was born in Shreveport. So we have our contributions, in this
Definitely. Yeah, I wasn't hating. I mean, I was hating, I guess, because I'm from South Louisiana. But I wanted to give credit where credit's due. No,
Yeah.
and I really like that Memphis, like I don't like Vegas Elvis music at all. I like his Memphis sound, and I think it's that Memphis has such a deep rooted like R&B sound. It just because my favorite album of all time is by a band that I don't really care for. My favorite album, Kimmy knows it. What's my favorite album?
It's that it's that ZZ Top album. I don't remember the name
Yeah,
of it.
because it's a
not
shocker,
ZZ
right?
Top.
It's ZZ Top. I don't even listen to it. It's Praise Hombres. Like, because, and that was the only, they honorary Memphis citizens because of that album. And it doesn't sound like ZZ Top. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it doesn't really, and you can listen to that whole album cover to cover. It's really, really good. And I'm not a ZZ Top fan, like, at all. And the reason that I found out about that album was because I am a huge Alice in Chains fan, and that's Jerry Cantrell's favorite album. I was like, oh, I got to check that out. If he likes it, it must be pretty damn good, right? Because we didn't even talk about Alice in Chains. That's my favorite, like, band. And we didn't even, like, didn't even come up in the conversation. Like, that's incredible. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much good music, to everywhere you look.
And Jill mentioned in the chat that Lil Nate will be playing tonight if you're in Scott at the Boudin Festival. And so he'll be playing between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. tonight. If any of y'all are in the area or want
Hey,
to
I'm
travel.
going. I'm going. Hey, I'm going. Tell Lil
Jody, if
Nate
you're
to give me a
going,
shout out. I'm going. Oh, yes, I'm going.
if you're
Absolutely.
going, baby girl wants to go, and I don't want to.
I'll go pick her up. I got a dance partner. She's got to dance. Tell her. That's late. You gonna let her come out that late?
It's spring break right now. Let her have fun. Yeah.
She's
She's
got
gonna
to
end up
dance.
falling asleep on you. Like she's not a kid to be up that late.
She's welcome to come. She just got to dance. That's all. That's my only requirement. But yeah, she's absolutely welcome for sure. She's always welcome. You know that. I bought her a book. If I bought you a book, that means I love you. I gotta buy Drea a book because everybody else got one. That's why they all laughing because Kristy got a book for sure. I know Veronica got at least a
I
couple.
got a super special book. It's an audio book. I don't
Yeah.
have to turn the pages. I get to listen while driving.
That's the only one you get. Like the rest of until you read a real book. Kristy got How to Win Friends and Influence People from me. I'm sure of it because I gave that to Kimmi.
Yeah.
That was that's if you want that's a really good HR book because it just kind of teaches you to be nice to people, like, and that often works out. It teaches to look at things from somebody else's perspective. That's what it teaches, and I think we all need to do a little bit more of that whenever we have the opportunity to do so. That's why I want to thank Drea so much for coming on last minute, because everybody would have thought if I'm getting the black lady on from Monroe, she must be the R&B expert. And no, she's not. I am. How about that? I got her on to talk
You
about.
know more hip hop than I do too, so that would
That's right.
pop people's minds.
Admittedly, but you know more of what I really like that I do. Like you know more about Stevie Wonder than I do. You played drums before. I found out, 2 months ago when Tony Jones. I'm gonna give Tony Jones a shout out because she told me to watch that. Said it was the coolest thing she saw. So like I got mad respect for her. Also, uh, I'm proud to say that I think I helped Kimmi and her develop a better relationship.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
And I didn't like do anything other than ask you to see it from her perspective, maybe. Like, because I was doing the exact same thing. I said, you want to, like, I'm doing the same thing you do it to somebody else. Like, it's always when you're doing something and you say, man, why am I doing that? And then turns out Kim's doing the same thing because we all do things we don't notice we're doing because we have internal biases that we never got over. Like, because we never get to talk about them. Because when you talk about them, you get labeled, put a label on you, right? I got reported to HR the most in history of Hub, probably, and I'm proud of that. And every single time I cooperated every single time. It was, I'm making it up. Like all I got reported to HR once, but
But we definitely appreciate you, Jody. We appreciate Drea for being, our
thank you,
special
Drea, for
guest.
taking a chance and coming out here. I think you dazzled everybody like we knew you would.
Thank
She's
you for
also
having me.
she's shy. How did she do, Kimmi? How did you think she did?
Oh,
I think she did
she did great.
fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Ray,
yeah, it's awesome.
Ray, you think she did great?
Great. Wonderful. We'll have her again soon.
Kristy, what you thought?
She did amazing.
And Kristy, like I want to give props to Kristy for being the hardest working person that I know, because she hates doing this. She absolutely hates getting on camera. She doesn't like it. It makes her completely uncomfortable.
It
But
does.
she knows she has to do it to be successful, and so she busts her butt to get better at it, right? Am I being?
I
And you
do, and
think
actually,
that-
I'm constantly recording podcasts now. I got another one I'm recording next week, so I'm pushing myself really hard to get outside my comfort zone.
You've come a long way too. You absolutely have, because like Kimmi didn't even notice that you were nervous the first time. Like, and I told, because I knew she was nervous. I said, look, Kristy's. I said, I can promise you, she's nervous. Like, she's
Always.
way nervous. She's way more nervous than you are. I promise you. But I like to give props, for, work like that. We all have weaknesses, whether we want to admit them or not, and we all have things that are obstacles to our success. And if we want to be successful, we need to work on those things too. So my hat's off to Kristy for actually doing it, and I want to give her, it worked, because she's much more effective than she used to be. It's good to be nervous. It's not, because when you're not nervous, then you don't care, right? So I think you're getting it to where it's a healthy nerve thing and not anxiety anymore, and that's awesome. That's a great step, and your natural talent's going to shine through. It always does, but sometimes we got to get out of our own way. So I was happy to help push you out of your own way. Same thing with you, Dre. I knew you were going to be awesome. Thank you for trusting me to push you and nudge you a little bit. I know it was uncomfortable, but you did fantastic. Thank you for taking a chance and trusting me with that. I hope you had a good time, and you're always
did.
welcome.
Thank you
so
for
much.
even considering me. It's been fun.
I knew you were bored. So,
Not at all. Not at all. Just a little shy, but I've enjoyed every moment of this.
you did fantastic, and I'm glad, so glad you because she's an inbound OG. She knows, like, Dre and I have been working together for a long time. I love her. She knows that. Think highly of her, and I'm glad that I was able to help you come out here and show everybody else how awesome you are. And V, can I violate HIPAA and tell everybody stuff, or no? I'm asking permission.
I mean, technically, being that you're not a doctor or medical professional, you can't really
I'm not a
violate my
doctor of medical. No, I'm asking how you feeling.
It's not PHI.
She's
Yeah, I don't care.
a warrior. She had
You
surgery
can tell
this
them
week.
everything about me. I don't care.
I do, but I don't want to do it without your permission. But I do want to give you mad props for coming on here, because you didn't know we were going to have a surprise guest, so we would have been shorthanded if you hadn't been willing to come on and do this after having surgery the same week. I know I give you a lot of crap. That's because I love you, and I think the world of you. Also, giving you mad props for the same thing I gave Kristy mad props for earlier. You recognized an issue that you had that was going to prevent you from being successful, or not really prevent you from being successful, prevent you from being as successful as you want to be. And you took the time to work on it. You sought out help from somebody you trusted, who's, I told y'all, is way deeper than that purple hair, because now her hair is not purple. You sought out the right kind of help. You worked on it, and again, the results speak for themselves. You've done remarkable work in a short period of time and come a long way, and we're all very proud of you. I think, right, Ray? Is that
That's
fair?
right.
So thank you for being an inspiration to me, Veronica. I love you. Thank you, Drea. Thank you, Ray. You are the man, the host with the most.
Well,
Thank you, as always, Kimmi. You are the queen of cool. You know that. And you are a fantastic person to boot. And I love you. Thank you for making us look good. And I think that's it, huh? Like,
that's right. Well, we can wrap
that's
it
a
up.
wrap. Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all our viewers and listeners as well. Thank you. Have a good one.
Appreciate